Greetings, Starfighters. Yeah, I'm a little surprised to be doing this too. If you follow me on social media, you might know there was a little bit of drama last week. Well, last week for me. It looked like I was going to be giving this thing up, but, well, here I am. At least for the rest of this season. We'll see. Oh, who am I kidding? I already bought the DVD set for Season 4. You know me, I get ahead of myself all the time. Anyway, this episode's movie, The Devil Bat from 1941. I'm going to be doing the reading of the plot summary on the back of the case again. Just because, I love this. A chemist feels betrayed by the company owners who have profited from his discoveries and seeks revenge using a large, vicious bat. If you think that I'm going to be making a lot of references to late-stage capitalism, well, you know me too well. Hashtag Warren 2020.
Alright, and I have now watched the Bela Lugosi movie, The Devil Bat. Plot summary, courtesy of Letterboxd. Dr. Carruthers feels bitter at being betrayed by his employers, Heath and Morton, when they became rich as a result of a product he devised. He gains revenge by electrically enlarging bats, yes, I said that right, and sending them out to kill his employer's family members by instilling in the bats a hatred for a particular perfume he has discovered, which he gets his victims to apply before going outdoors. Johnny Layton, a reporter, finally figures out Carruthers is the killer, and, after putting the perfume on himself, douses it on Carruthers in the hopes it will get him to give himself away. One of the two is attacked as the giant bat makes one of its screaming, swooping power dives. And yes, you did hear me right at the beginning. It's a Bela Lugosi movie, folks. The DVD case left that part out. I mean, it's not like that would be this movie's #1 selling point or anything. So, as you probably guessed, Lugosi plays Dr. Carruthers, the guy mentioned in the plot summary. I mean, I don't think Lugosi's ever played the good guy in one of his films, so that does make it a safe bet. Though if he ever has, I'd kind of like to see that movie just for the novelty of it. Anyway, the opening sequence of the film has a lot of redundant moments that easily could have been trimmed, or at the very least filled with music or dialogue to make it a little less tedious. I mean, Bela Lugosi's awesomeness can only carry you so far. Yeah, and I am not kidding about the tediousness. I think we spend several minutes just watching him look at things through protective goggles and moving a few switches. There are sound effects, so it's not completely devoid of life, but still. Another thing I can ding the movie for is that the movie, unlike what the back of the DVD case suggested, It hints that Lugosi's character was already pretty evil even before his company screwed him over. But, while not explicitly in the Hays Code, which, if I remember right, was in full force when this movie was made, I imagine criticizing capitalism quite so bluntly, even in the form of a B-movie, was pretty frowned upon. But no, our first kill of the movie is Lugosi, okay, look, I know I've said before that I was going to use character names more often, but let's be real. Apart from Dracula, has anyone ever bothered to use one of Bela Lugosi's characters' names when talking about his movies? Anyway, the guy Lugosi kills, he puts the triggering scent on to provoke the giant bat attack. It was some guy who'd come down to give him a check. A $5,000 bonus from the bosses, the Heath and Morton mentioned in the summary. I mean, even today, $5,000 is a lot of money, and this movie came out in 1940, so that check that Lugosi got, its spending power was $91,923.74 in today's money. Okay, I looked it up. If I was that good at math, I wouldn't have had to drop out of college. But yeah, seeing all this stuff so early in the movie, it doesn't ruin the cheesy B-movie Bela Lugosi charm of it all, but it does take the wind out of my sails regarding capitalism jokes, and I did promise capitalism jokes in the intro to this episode. Whoops. So, yeah, that's what you're looking for here. Just go watch some H-Bomber Guy or Philosophy Tube videos instead. But at least we get our vampire connection in pretty early. Aside from the bats. And Bela Lugosi. When giving the scent to the guy who gave him the check in the form of a new shaving lotion he's developing, he tells him to put it on his neck. So yeah, bats, biting necks. I'll accept it. Although, again, this being a Bela Lugosi movie helps. Though, even without him, this is still way more of a vampire movie than Primeval was. After this, we meet the journalist mentioned in the summary, Johnny Layton. That's actually the character's name. See, I can't keep my promises on this channel. Sometimes. Oh, don't look at me like that. The point is, we meet Layton, and I'll say this for the sequence, it's funnier than any of the newsroom scenes in His Girl Friday. That's right, I said it, His Girl Friday is overrated. Fight me. Later on, we meet Layton's photographer, One Shot McGuire. That's what they call him throughout the entire movie. Basically, imagine Jimmy Olsen if he were in his late 30s and also kind of a pervert. This character is funnier than he has any right to be, and quite possibly on purpose, though with this era of horror movie, who knows. From here on, the death scenes, they get a little repetitive, to be honest, but in an amusing way. Like I said, it would not surprise me if it turned out The Devil Bat was intentionally filmed as a comedy. But with still more than a third of the movie to go, behold, a twist. The reporter, Layton, manages to kill the titular Devil Bat. That was certainly unexpected, but since there's so much running time left, it's not hard to guess that Lugosi will make a new one. And he does, and the sequence is shorter than the scenes where he finished growing the first bat. Though not by much. But at least it's broken up with inserts of Layton and McGuire getting rehired by the newspaper they'd worked for. It makes sense in context. Also, points to the CEO of Heath & Morton for figuring out that Lugosi was behind the Devil Bat on his own with just a few context clues. This is a level of intellect we don't usually see from designated victims in horror movies. Shame he dies before he can tell anyone else, though. As for the ending, it's not actually as ambiguous as the summary I found implies. Though, considering when this film was made, it's not hard to guess that it would be like that. Part of the old Hays Code was the bad guy was never allowed to get away at the end. I think some movies made after the code was gone overcompensated for that a bit and leaned a little too close to out-and-out nihilism, but that's a topic I'd rather not get into here. As for how it ends exactly, you can probably guess, but actually I'd honestly rather you see this for yourself. I think this is a fun one. Random thoughts I had while watching the movie. This movie actually has a French-made character, and they play it completely straight. It's almost admirable in its silliness. I think I deserve an award of some kind for making it through this whole script without making a single bat-crap crazy joke. I'm about 90% certain that the bat noises in this movie were actually made by a monkey. I'm also about 90% certain that this movie passes the Bechdel test. Final verdict. Cheesy as all hell, but that's to be expected. Definitely worth adding to your bad movie night rotation, though be prepared for more than a little padding. Let me put it this way. In less than 15 minutes of screen time, we see Lugosi's character make pretty much the whole trip from his lab to his secret room, where he keeps all his bats, with only 1 or 2 brief cuts. 3 times. 3 times. To use a joke that I forgot to use for the last episode, transition shot, motherfucker, do you speak it? Well, at least it isn't like that for the whole movie, so there's that. Anyway, up next on Shameless Cashgrab, we're back to bats with a movie called The Vampire Bat. I wonder if it's going to have any vampire bats in it.
And scene.
So this one's actually going to have a vampire? Maybe?
Well, it's going to have a bat.